Boom.
Here we are. Sorry, that was like screaming.
We are.
I've never spoken like that before.
Hey,
Hi.
New York.
I guess we'll do the intro. I'm Hannah Gerlander.
And I'm North Free.
And you're listening to New Yorker of the Week.
New Yorker of the Week.
Did you hear what Lady Gaga did yesterday?
She casually won like best artist right before her show, and then at the end she was like, "Sorry, I have to go to Madison Square Garden."
She literally, so they sent out like a PSA because Brian went last night. Like, everyone know, doors are still opening at 7, but she will not be on until 9:30. She walked the red carpet, accepted Artist of the Year on Long Island, and then drove to Madison Square Garden and did her 2.5-hour show. Like that.
And I'm like stressed out about having to do my shift at work and then go to babysitting.
It really makes you think for a second.
Yeah,
and it's like
really
anyone who's
cool.
seen her show now, like the show only makes sense when I imagine that like all day she's just like relaxing, preparing. So then to know that before it, she's in glam, walking the red carpet, doing interviews, accepting the award, doing the speech, then has like a 2-hour car ride. And then maybe a little less. And then just does that show. Unreal.
That's insane.
I love that woman.
She's so amazing.
She really is. I know that I've already spoken about it, but like when I saw people posting, because she was last night in New York and 2 nights ago in New York, and like people just posting the beginning. It's like I had like the goosebumps. Like it was an unreal show.
Who were the other artists?
For
Who
what?
are the nominees? The nominees are
For Artist of the Year?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look it up.
because I need to know.
I do too.
You know who I might nominate next year?
Who?
Justin Bieber. His
Really?
album.
You like it?
Hannah, oh my God. His album is so okay. Okay, so he came out with Swag One. Sorry, I just said Swag.
Bad Bunny, Beyonce,
She won over Beyonce.
Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, Morgan Wallen, Taylor Swift, and The
Holy
Weeknd.
shit. Can The Weeknd, what?
The Weeknd should not have been in this category.
Like the Weeknd in a category with Beyonce and Lady Gaga. Are you kidding me?
Makes zero
That makes no sense.
Makes zero sense.
That's like crazy. With Kendrick Lamar, like
No.
The Weeknd. Who is The Weeknd?
And no one likes him.
Like literally what?
The best press, the best part of his
Name
life.
one Weeknd song.
Starboy.
Okay.
Actually, in college, that was like, I'm a motherfucking Starboy. You know that song? I grab it.
Barely. I barely know that song.
Me
I
too,
can
but
name
like
70 other Beyonce songs that are better.
Of course. I'm not saying it's better than Beyonce. I just know a song. Seeing Lady Gaga though made me wish I also saw Beyonce this year.
Let's go next year.
Is it happening next year?
I'm assuming she'll just keep going, and let's see the
Let's
next.
go next year.
Whatever the next one is, let's commit to going.
I do wish like more artists would do what Taylor Swift did, in the fact that she was touring for like 3 years straight. So it's like, oh, you didn't get her this year. Maybe next year you'll have a different job, more money, and I go. You know?
Yeah.
Like I really feel like
Because now we're in 2 weeks, things are going to change. Last week
we just are 3 weeks away. This is 2 weeks away.
So
This week is like, for me, next week's rough. I sent you the picture of the next week's schedule. Remember?
Yeah.
Next week is spooky scary.
Yeah, that's spooky scary.
This week is kind of prepping for spooky scary.
I hope I haven't been like the buzzkill friend recently. I just feel like I've been so burnt out. Okay, can I say my New York moment of the week?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it happened, I was like, that's not New York moment of the
Okay.
week. I'm so burnt out. Like are you loving the flowers?
Yeah, I'm just
Aren't
I didn't
they
look at
so
them really
cute?
before.
Aren't
I'm
they
really
cute?
admiring
I
them.
really needed them yesterday.
Yeah, they're nice.
So I'm like incredibly burnt out. I've worked like 3 jobs, different jobs throughout the day. And then I have to go and do an emergency checkup on another job. It's just like a whole thing. And I'm coming back up Flatbush Avenue. And I know that you're at Orange Theory, so I want to stop by and say hi.
Oh,
I'm with my bike, and I look in the mirror. I look into the window of Orange Theory, and Hannah's there at the desk. And I just look at you, and for everyone who's not watching, I just go, and I like mouth hi to you. And I was like, I'm so tired. I like say that like through my lips. And then you just kind of like nod
I was
your head
nodding and waving.
and then waving. And I said, what did I say?
You did something.
I
that
said,
motion, I'm going.
I'm going. And then I just say, I love you.
And I said it back.
I love you.
And
then
she did
we
a
just
heart.
go.
And then
we
left.
just left. And there was it was just like, she knew. I think you knew. I didn't even tell you about my day. And it's like, you knew that I had a New York day.
Yeah.
I couldn't come in and say hi, but I love you.
Yeah, love you too.
And I'm going to move forward up this bush.
And up this bush. And like for also context, like I'm never looking out the window. Like
really
I feel like I'm
moment.
especially at that moment was like it's almost class time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like I'm never just like looking out the window.
It was a really cute
moment. But it was
moment.
like I do feel, and I know that you are my friend with ginger hair standing in the window, like looking at me. So like maybe that's why I looked up.
Yeah.
But recently I just keep having these like weird little like incidents. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What? No, I actually don't. What can you specify?
Like I think it's like in that moment I would have never been like staring out the window, and I'm staring at the window as you walk right by. And it's like you weren't there yet. Yeah. I was called to the window.
Right.
The other day, we're on the call for work, our like Monday meeting with corporate and whatever. And I was like, who's the studio that still has their scaffolding up? And everyone's like, I don't know. Who cares? Right.
Bay Ridge.
And then, no, it's Astoria.
Astoria, sorry.
Then they get to Astoria, and Astoria goes, our scaffolding's officially down. And I was like, that's weird.
Thanks,
because
Hannah. Thanks for taking that down.
I've never talked about that ever. And I just say it. And then the other day, I'm singing Phantom of the Opera at the exact time that Brian starts talking about how he's going to see Phantom of the Opera, the experience.
Okay. So
and
now
he was like,
gonna,
that's weird. And
can
I was
you
like,
say a couple things for me?
A couple things for you?
That will come true?
Well, I'll just have to
in 3 weeks
just let things fall out, and it's kind of like you can trust whatever falls out is going to be what comes. Now we can kind of trust that because of my abilities.
Do you see anything in my love life happening soon? Can you
well, that's
search
not really
deep
how.
into? Okay.
It's kind of more like without. So far with the powers, it's more that I don't realize I have them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
like
kind
Matilda. You're at the Matilda stage.
I actually believe I said something before we recorded about who I see you with romantically.
Okay, and we can't.
And we're obviously not, but it's kind of like think on that.
I'm thinking on it.
Think on that.
Earlier, the exterminator came in. This is different. This isn't anything to do with the love thing. Although one time I did, not with Lou, but a different exterminator. I know.
I know. I think you've shared that story on the pod like 3 times.
So sorry.
That was kind of when we realized we didn't want to talk about Sex and the City.
It was when I told you that I made out with my exterminator once.
And we talked about it for like a really long time. And we talked about how like New York exterminators, like the working man is so attractive. That was probably for our listeners like clue number 1.
Yeah. The exterminator just came in, not the one that I made out with like 12 years ago,
not
but the one, my ex. I'm pretty sure his name was also Lou. Are all exterminators named Lou?
There's something
and
in
they're all like Italian.
The name Lou does lead you towards a line of work, don't you think?
I'm Lou. I'm the exterminator.
Like Lou can't be.
I've lived in New York for like 20. No, wait, more longer than that. I've lived in New York for 50 years.
Yeah, however old he is.
Raised my grandmother.
My grandmother.
We were living in Long Island, and then we came out here.
Yeah.
So Lou just walked. So we're talking, and all of a sudden we hear a man's voice, and we're like, "Holy shit, intruder!"
It was scary.
And we turned around, and Lou, the exterminator, again, not the one that I've had a relationship with, this is a new one, comes in and he's like, "It's exterminator. We're just here for I come once every month. You want me to exterminate the house?" It's like always like, please, like as many chemicals as possible in my house. So he comes in and I was like, "How long have you been an exterminator?" And he's like, 12 years. And I'm like, "How long have you lived in New York?" And he's like, 1,000 years. And then
he's a hairdresser.
And I'm like, "Do you want to be on our podcast?"
And he was so sure.
So first of the month, October, kicking it off with Lou. Just got his number.
Get ready for Lou.
And it's a 917 number, so you know he's fucking
And he was
real.
giving us kind of like some romantic advice.
Yeah, because we were talking about boys, and he's like, "They're all bad. They'd never treat you the way I treat you."
And Lou is married with 6 kids. Mm-hmm. So Lou's doing something right.
Extermination.
Well, because then we were saying that there is something like sexy about Like,
Lou.
I would rather.
I hope Lou overheard that.
I hope so
it
too.
made us stay. We were like, there's something, because as soon as he left, Hannah was like, there's something sexy about an exterminator.
There's something sexy about a working man, like working with his hands, maybe doing something gross, doing something hard. Like, that's just like sexy. Like, yeah, I love my boyfriend. I think he's sexy, but like
it's always going to come back to
working
Wolf.
in like social media. You know what I mean? That's not sexy to me.
Yeah.
Not sexy.
I want a guy who's like, show me the rat.
I told you. Okay. I'm not sure who exactly that is.
Like, just give it to me and I'll deal with it.
Yeah, who doesn't give a shit? Doesn't give a shit about that.
Who doesn't give a shit? Let me get in there.
Like,
Honey,
feel
this
like,
isn't for you.
Yeah.
Take the kids, go outside.
These like one-liners feel like really specific. There is just something sexy about that to me.
I'm working on the car today.
We actually kind of had a realization about my type, I would say, when we were at the bar opening.
Yeah, we did.
We're surrounded by like wealthy men.
We went to an influencer bar opening that we were invited to as podcast co-hosts and founders of female founders, of the women of the world. They called us. They selected us they asked us to be on this, to come in as an influencer.
I can't wait for you to like listen back to like that wind up. But we go, and we'll talk more about this because it's related to a big guest coming. But
huge.
We go, and we're surrounded by like semi-celebrities, really wealthy people. Most of the men were like really well dressed. A lot of them were hot. And then
dare I say we were the hottest though?
Yeah, of the women.
I took one of those photos and put it on my field profile.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
And basically though, like there's all these guys, and they're all like, and most women would be like, we're surrounded by eligible bachelors. And then there's this bartender behind the bar who seems to be having a hard time making a drink. His hair couldn't be wilder. And I didn't see him able to make eye contact with one person. And I was like, Nora, look at that guy. And she was like, what?
Meanwhile, I'm like, could I hook up with the pretty heavy set older man who clearly funded this thing?
Yeah.
And like,
our minds were kind of elsewhere.
And I was like, I think I could do it just maybe for a little bit. And like, I don't know, maybe you could help me with my book club. And like, and then Hannah's like, but look at that man over there.
And it's like, no one was looking at that bartender but me. Like nobody. But I think sometimes when I complain about Wolf, everyone's like, she needs to be with a different type of man.
You don't.
But it's like, that is the type of man I like. So
if
it's not this guy, it's gonna be that bartender. Like, it's gonna be a different type of like man who has a hard time completing one task, is nervous to make eye contact, and has like crazy hair. Yeah. So it's kind of like, let's just lock down what I got going down the street.
He looked like the beginning of like a Frizzy commercial, you know, John Frieda Frizzies.
Yeah, like
that's the hair that's the hair like in the beginning, and it's like he's like lightly, like it's very thin, and it's like sticking out in all directions.
It was really fluffy,
and
he
had
really
no
different
idea
from
how
the
to
other
do.
Bartenders.
Yeah, the other bartenders were like, you know, like 35 piercings, like blue hair, and he was like kind of creating his own energy.
And everyone should know that is how I found Wolf. When Wolf and I met, he was a bartender, and early in the relationship, I visited him at the bar he was working at, and I was like, he's really overwhelmed here. And he's really
overwhelmed. I cannot imagine Wolf as a bartender.
This is the thing about Wolf. He makes delicious drinks. He's a very good bartender. He grew up working at his dad's bar. He knows how to make a really good drink. He does not know how to work quickly, and he does not know how to work under pressure. So kind of not ideal for a bartender. He could like make a bar their menu, their like specialty drink menu. He should not be working during happy hour at that bar.
Right.
It was really he just was, and this was why it was funny when we worked together for a while, because we were just really, really different people working at a restaurant.
I cannot even imagine you guys working together. It was so funny.
The craziest thing was that was like probably the best part of our relationship. Okay. Because I think like in terms of like we had something that we both were like did that was like I feel like I respected him after the day of work we just had, and he respected me. We both like saw exactly what the other went through.
Right.
Where now it's like I'm trying to convince him, look how hard my day was, and he was like, look how hard mine is, and I was like, you do social media.
Social media.
I don't want to hear about it. I do a little social media, but it's different.
It's not different. You do a lot. You do a lot. And here.
I do. I forget sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm like at Orange Theory. I do our Orange Theory.
You do.
I do our social media.
Yeah, you really do. You do everything.
I really feel like we've learned so much.
I've learned a lot about booking and how to reel them in.
Yeah. No, I was talking to everyone about how, well, I don't want to say it, but how you got upcoming. Mm-hmm. And because everyone was like, how? And I was like, Nora's like not afraid to like text the person that you're maybe like afraid to text. Like she's not afraid to pull on that string that you're like, this might be. Nora's like, we're getting to the bottom of this.
It's part of my Jewish roots is being invasive.
Because it makes me nervous to ask someone. Even when we were like thinking about asking for a picture, I was kind of like, I don't want to.
We didn't ask for a picture because I thought maybe there would be, I don't know. I just felt too try hard, but like.
But then it seems like everyone else got a picture.
I know. Well, if you look at the roundup of pics of the event, our arms
look
are
for our
in
arms.
it. You can see
both our arms are hidden right now.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, you can see them online. They're all over the internet.
No tag though.
No tag. You'll have to find it, and you'll have to find what event we're talking about. And
it's still kind of a lot of. It's like a hunt.
It's a scavenger hunt
for you.
With you. What's going on? It's
11:39 too.
Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it the fuck up.
We have a really cool guest on today. She's like she's really interesting. She has so much niche like information.
Yeah, she does.
Like that. Honestly, I'm very like excited to like have people here.
And
she's cool.
And she's very much like they always tell you to like write what you know, create what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And like she really has done that. She's like created a life of just like exploring the niche interests she's had and learning more about that, which I think is always cool.
Exactly. Yeah, we're excited for you guys to listen to this next interview. But anyways, I think, this is going to be a short ep for us because we did go pretty long with
Malik.
No, not Malik, Jess.
Oh.
That was us.
I thought you meant like last week's episode.
Yeah.
But I guess last week's episode is just us.
Yeah, just us. No. Also, I had someone follow up with me about us only having people on that I want to pursue in my love life. And I've decided actually I don't want to pursue anyone who comes on the pod because I don't think that they're a good fit for me. Okay. So, and I think they're great people, but so far I'm not interested. Okay. So there you go.
So there we have that. I also think this will make for probably best podcasting because now instead of hoping to win them over and start something, we're just trying to have the most fun. It's going to release some of the pressure.
I know. Yeah, we're done. So, it's just like.
You had your chance.
You blow it. So
way to fucking go.
You can't get this gem. My hair is like completely. I am the waiter. Nice. I'm the frizzy waiter.
This is what I want to tell you. When the frizzy waiter. When you walked by the window, we did it your hair looked beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. When you were walking away, I was like thinking about the hair.
Wow.
It was like you had it not in a middle part. I would say maybe it was, but the way it like curled down, it looked like you had done it. What day was that? What was going on with it?
I don't remember any day anymore. I'm so stressed and tired. Wait, hazy.
Was it Friday?
My hazy?
Because I was with Katie.
I think it was Friday. Yeah.
What was going on Friday with your hair?
I don't. That is something only God knows.
I'll ask him.
Think about it.
Well, on that note.
I love you, Hannah.
Love you too.
Bye. Today we're really excited. We have Jess Rothschild on, who is a native New Yorker, creator and producer of the docu-series Cult, A Body and Soul, Finding Fire Island, and a weekly podcast series called Hot Takes and Deep Dives. Jess, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm a fan of this show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, can I tell you what my favorite, the thing that really drew me into, guys? So I know Liz Glazer a bit.
Yeah.
And when I don't remember which one of you actually thought that she was in the Brady Bunch, that she was out. That to me was the funniest moment of comedy all summer. Like I talked about that at brunch with my friends. I'm like, no, you have to watch this.
It was so crazy because I've known Liz since 2020. And the first time I saw Liz do comedy was on a show I was hosting. Okay. So I know that I like heard her say the Brady Bunch thing, but was like, oh, I need to pull up the next comic. I'm about to go up on stage. So like I wasn't listening to the joke. And even when I told Nora we should have Liz on, I was like, she was on the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. And I Googled it and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, I think Hannah was kidding. Like she wasn't.
And I was like, to be like so 75 years old.
I had never when
She'd
I
be older
searched,
than that,
or if not older,
woman,
yeah.
I was like, okay, there's no way this could be Liz. But people are mad. At first everyone was laughing at the clip, but have you seen the comments now?
No, are people coming for us?
People are coming for me. They're like, how unprofessional to have someone on your podcast that you didn't know. And I was like, okay, I actually know Liz pretty well. I just like Jesus missed that one thing.
Also, like, what are you doing with your life? Like that you're commenting on our podcast, being
about my
who are you?
Interviewing skills.
Don't even get me started on like people in the comments of our section or whatever.
Anytime someone comments, Nora's like, they need to be putting this energy anywhere else.
Like literally,
in the world.
we have so much going on in the world, and this is where you're gonna put your energy. Okay. Anyways, Jess, we're so happy to have you on. I was obsessed with SoulCycle for a while, just to like give you a heads up. Like I was like,
what years?
Like in the beginning, like in the 2000, maybe like 16 era.
Okay.
Like it was at the beginning or not really?
That's not the beginning. That's toward the end.
I was there from the start. I opened a SoulCycle.
2016 was sort of like at its peak.
Yeah.
So we can say that it was cresting, but like about to experience.
Yeah, a downfall.
Yeah, a downfall.
Because the way that I saw SoulCycle having a downfall was that Peloton came into the scene.
I bought a Peloton.
And Hannah bought a Peloton and the whole thing just shattered.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
It's so interesting how if you literally like were to like map it out, there are different inflection points of like these major societal political moments that happened. And you really could draw it out. But the Peloton / the pandemic, like you're combining those two things together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could point to that as perhaps the biggest. Yeah, they never really technically came back from the pandemic and reclaimed the zeitgeist the way in which, where they were.
Yeah. Well, can you start off by just telling us so let's start with the SoulCycle. So you've done 2 docu-series one on SoulCycle, one on Fire Island.
Mm-hmm.
You also have your weekly podcast. What inspired you specifically to tackle SoulCycle and Fire Island? Like what brought you to that?
So each of those started out the infancy of each of those series started out as individual episodes of hot takes and deep dives. And yeah, that's a lot of that sort of hot takes and deep dives is a little, I mean, it's an interview based show, but also I do episodes that are just like bottle episodes where they're kind of just incubators for things that I'm obsessed with. And I'll bring on like an expert in the subject matter or a friend who's worked at a certain place. And we'll just like go through stuff as just a way to sort of like express my passion for a certain subject. And sometimes it just keeps coming back around. And Fire Island and SoulCycle are the 2 things that I just couldn't shake in terms of wanting to really get to the bottom of each of those stories and places. And so that's really, and also those were the 2 places where I found community in my adult New York City life. Like I lived it. Like it's really like my story. Yeah, it was like, these are the subjects that I could talk extensively about and want to consume every piece of media about. Yet I couldn't quite scratch the itch entirely to flesh out like everything I wanted to say about it and everything I wanted to know. So I went out to create that piece of media that I would want in each of those subject matters.
Gotcha. And did you spend a lot of time on Fire Island specifically or Cherry Grove? Because I know it's mainly like men on Fire Island. Like what's that?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time
Nothing.
in I spent a lot of time in both Cherry Grove
Yeah.
and the Pines. I would say I spent more time in Cherry Grove in my like earlier like mid 2000s life
Yeah.
than starting in the pandemic. Nearly all my time was spent in the Pines, and that is
Mm.
really where like I met a lot of my friends and a lot of people from the city I would run into, like instructors at Barry's Boot Camp and SoulCycle who I knew.
Mhm.
Like that is really where they were. And it was from there, from spending all that time in the Pines, that I really fell in love with the place and started to like read books about the history, started to watch a couple documentaries that were sort of the documentaries are a little bit not entirely fully baked productions. And so it was like I really, again, like wanting to create the thing that didn't exist in the world.
And had you ever done a documentary before, or this was
No,
like you were fascinated
no.
with this and you just did it? That's
I
pretty
just
impressive.
I faked it till I made it.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
I
love
just
that.
figured it out.
And for people who haven't seen them, like what's like the thesis? Like what is the call to the documentary?
Yeah, so Finding Fire Island is all about like the history, mystique, and lore of the two oldest gay communities in the US, the
Yeah.
Pines and Cherry Grove. And Soul Cycle is very much about like the zeitgeist and the cult of personality and the candlelit rooms and the seduction. How did Soul Cycle capture the zeitgeist in a way that the New York City zeitgeist in particular, in a way that no other fitness brand had before, or in my opinion, ever will again? It was
Mm.
a moment in time, and we are fucking happy to be alive. And it is a miracle that we all experienced it. And that's what should be celebrated.
Are there's still soul cycles around, right?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the instructors at my studio that I go to, my yoga studio, she's a soul cycle instructor. So
Mhm.
they're still
Oh,
are
what's
they
her name?
I don't want to shout out her name, just
Okay.
I want to protect her in case we
Okay.
go on a soul cycle
That's funny.
spree.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but I what was I gonna say? I feel like there used to be one across the street from
There
me
did
and
used
that
to be
shut
one over
down. So
here.
is what you're saying is that Soul Cycle has like kind of are they not doing well right now? Because I don't really know the status of how they're doing.
I don't think that I think with the saturation, Barry's boot camp is exploding. There's a lot of money coming into Barry's boot camp,
Mhm.
and they're expanding, and basically Soul Cycle with the Equinox acquisition, they
Yeah.
expanded. It's really the lesson of like overexpansion and
Right.
saturation.
Right.
And when you're originally the restaurant that no one could get into and suddenly you're Applebee's, that's the story of Soul Cycle.
Wow.
It's also like now more than ever, there's gyms where you can do everything at. Like there's
Yeah.
even gyms that have Peloton in their gym. Like
Mhm.
it's like, why would
Yeah.
you pay for one thing? when
Yeah.
you go pay the same price, especially like I used to go to SoulCycle, but then I couldn't afford it. So I used to go to Ride NYC. And
Yeah.
then it was like my Peloton membership, of course, came with buying that bike. But like
Yes.
my monthly membership right now I don't have it anymore, but was the price of one SoulCycle class. And I was
But
like,
here's
that's
the
a
thing.
whole
But
month.
here's the thing. The magic of Soul Cycle, it's
Mhm.
being in that room.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're paying for theater.
Yeah.
It's theater. It's
Everyone
not
there
a
is just
workout.
actors
Yeah.
looking to get another job.
That's what you're paying for. It's not getting on the bike and like spinning around, going nowhere, sitting on a bike that goes nowhere for
Mhm.
45 minutes. That's not what you're paying for. Because, like you said, you can do that anywhere. You're paying for these trained, extremely charismatic performers getting on top of a podium and seducing you into a place, a mental and emotional and ultimately physical place and basically like taking you into a Broadway show.
Like,
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
That's
it's
what it
very
was at its
emotional.
height.
And it's like they do the thing at the end where it's like it's your final minute and they blow out the candle and they turn off the lights and
The
you
soulful
go crazy
moment.
and
Yes.
it's like you go for those moments. You can't
Yes.
get that other places.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's like okay, let's get into some juicy stuff. So like what's the darkest thing you've uncovered about Soul Cycle?
I mean, probably the thing most people don't know. Well, first of all, there was the tragic death of this instructor, Claire Veronica Walsh. She was a beloved instructor in like 2009 to 2012, and she died. She was very young. She was like 22 years old, gorgeous girl, and she was extremely popular. She was gonna be set to open the West Hollywood studio, and she died on Christmas night 2012. And there's a lot of lore about her death. And so we explore that in this series. We have like a firsthand account of it. And
Do you know
that's
why she died, or
she, why does a 22-year-old very, beloved, why does a 22-year-old die? Who's like an exercise, who's a performer, partying too hard. Like she was, and also like working your body to the bone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Because like when they're teaching those classes, they're also taking those classes.
Exactly. She
like
was
other
teaching,
fitness, like you coach, but you're not also taking it. Where cycling classes, especially, you're also doing the workout.
Riding the bike more than 12 times a week, probably under eating, and also on top of that, heavy partying. Like these were rock stars. They were celebrated. They were never told no. They were like the toast of New York City. So especially somebody so young, why would that person suddenly pass?
And did SoulCycle just like keep moving, like fill the time slot, keep moving? They didn't really address it.
Oh, no. They addressed it. There was a benefit ride set to Moulin Rouge that her mentor put together out in the Hamptons, and they raised a lot of money for the Lower East Side Girls Club, which was very important to her family. No, they definitely like honored her memory, and her name is Claire Veronica Walsh. Like everyone should look her up. She was really this ingenue. And so a lot of people may not know that story. And
that's like
we
the
really go in.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a death is pretty dark.
No, 100%.
And also, I think the other story,
the beginning of her probably career in fitness and performing.
That's tragic. It's awful.
Yeah.
What else like around SoulCycle? So you talked about like, and I saw this in the trailer of the show. You talk about the partying, like so they were partying too together, and they were like, is that kind of what the vibe was?
It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Wow.
That's crazy because it's so in my head, like I feel like the more I got into fitness, the more I leaned away from partying because partying messed with my fitness. Like,
totally.
I think it's something happens, and I've spoken to a lot of instructors. A God complex does develop. You are elevated on this platform above all of these adoring spectators who are showering you with gifts. Like I have instructors, they're like Hermes blankets, Hermes bracelets. They were given cash by the founders. They were never told no. They were treated like NFL players.
Yeah.
So it was, caviar, and they were treated like that by the riders as well as the founders, because these people were cash cows.
Yeah.
Because
they were the face. They were the face of the hottest brand in New York City.
Yeah.
Hottest club you couldn't get into.
Yeah.
So wait, was there a period of time where just like you could not get in a SoulCycle class?
Yes.
I feel like when I was doing it, I never experienced that.
Yes. Oh, yes. My time, my era. Yeah.
And what year was that, do you feel like?
I started in 2010. I would say 2009, 2010 to 2016.
Okay.
For certain instructors, many instructors, there were like 100-person wait lists.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
People at the front desk, don't worry, I'll get you in. But sometimes like you couldn't get in.
It's like a host at like a VIP restaurant.
And especially out in the Hamptons, people would like pay each other for bikes. Wow. It was a whole thing. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's really crazy. Especially now, because it's like at that time, that was probably like the cycling, the gym, where now there's so many options. Like,
well, there's so many copycats. Yeah.
You'll just go to another. Why would you wait in line to get into one place?
Yeah, well, think about it. Why would you wait in line to get into, the club Basement in Queens?
Yes, yeah.
It's like a rave club. Like, why do people wait there? Because you want the thing that you can't get into is the thing you want. This is like psychology 101.
Right, right. Yeah.
So this was the first documentary you did, and then you did your Fire Island.
Fire Island came first.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had this idea a lot longer.
Yeah. And so what do you think now, pivoting, but same question, like what's like the hottest take on Fire Island that you have?
Ooh. Hottest take on Fire Island is it's not what a lot, maybe the doors are a little bit blown right open on it. Okay, this is the hottest take on Fire Island. I think anybody, all these gay boys who are going to Fire Island, I think listening to Finding Fire Island should be required viewing, required listening. Before you should not be allowed to step foot on that fucking island until you listen to the history. And it's wrapped in, first of all, it's not like a history show. It's like a bunch of like fags like popping off about the island, and like it's lots of comedians. Joel Kim Booster is in it, and Margaret Cho, and a lot of people who've been there from the 50s. Like I spoke to this 92-year-old drag queen who arrived in 1955, and he still performs today. He is a legitimate legend.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who he is, you should not be allowed to step. You should not be allowed to get into the underwear party unless you can name check like five icons.
Quiz at the door.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And
that's my hottest take.
Do you still spend time in Fire Island?
I was there over Labor Day.
Oh, fun!
I was there like 4 times this summer. Of course.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
I've never been.
I've been.
But I'll do the required watching before I go.
Yeah.
If I go.
Yeah.
And what do you think is like the dark side of Fire Island?
The dark side, I think, not in Cherry Grove, but in the Pines, I would think there is. I think a lot of the guys, listen, all my friends, I'm gay, and all of my friends are gay, and a lot of my friends are gay men. And I think there is a pressure with like body image to like look a certain way and be a certain quote unquote gay guy, like capital G an A gay with like capital G gay guy. And that's the dark side, is a lot of people like fall into that myth that you have to be this certain thing when really you don't. And if you just let all that go, that's where the real fun begins.
Yeah, I definitely saw that when I was there. It's like there's definitely like the quintessential gay that goes to Fire Island.
But the truth is the people who are having the most fun and the best conversations, truly living life and loving life, are like the people who opt out of all of that.
100%, 100%. Because you go, like we went to a couple parties, and it was like a bunch of people standing around, and they didn't really like have anything to talk about. They're just like, oh, like, hey, where are you staying? Like, and then there's just like no other conversation. Whereas like, I don't know, I feel like the crew I went with, and then also like people that we ended up hanging out with were like so fun and like hilarious, and we didn't fit into like the mold of the like 6-pack Speedo. I clearly didn't, but Speedo. But
yes,
like,
you do.
Yeah. But like, it was just it's the same thing in New York. Like when you see a bunch of women that are very like skinny and blonde and hanging out in the West Village, and you kind of like listen into their conversations, and you're like, wait, I don't think they're having fun. But yeah, very influencer. Yeah. But it's like, it kind of has like I feel like Fire Island kind of has like a Mean Girls vibe to it sometimes, like in terms of like the cliques and like which party you're allowed into. And because there's like all these like really beautiful houses, and like you have to get an invite to
I know there's like what is it? The house that's like the most expensive. What is it? The Superman house?
There's this. The Superman house.
My friends were talking. I didn't know what they were talking about. My friends, my gay men friends, they were talking about how this guy they know went with just 4 guys, and they're at the Superman house for like 6 days. So they were just all talking about how much money had to be spent. And I was like, I didn't even know anything about this. But then I looked up the price of that house, and that is insane. To be split for 4 men for 6 days.
Crazy.
That's an insane amount of money. If anyone listening knows the price of that freaking house.
That's the other, I would say the other thing is you actually don't have to spend a lot of money to stay in. I think if you nurture the right friendships,
Oh yeah. If you
you
find the
can
right daddy.
yeah, like that's the thing. There are people like that who have to like buy their way in. But
Yeah.
also if you're just like a sort of fabulous, charming person, you'll
100%.
find your way like invited
You don't need
from
this
a
in their
strength
house.
of just your own personality and people wanting to be around you, which has absolutely nothing to do with the way you look or how much money you have.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because I remember we went to one pool party and it was like there was this like significantly older guy throwing the party and
Mm.
then just like tons of boys and then me, which like I really don't, which actually,
Hey, boys.
yeah, like, hey, boys. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just funny. And I asked him, I was like, how do you, because he told me that like at least 8 of them were staying with him. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
yeah. And I was like, how are you feeding them? And he's like, oh, honey, they don't eat. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about paying for
You
groceries.
should read that article that came out in The Cut called "We've Reached Peak Gay Sluttiness." It just came out last week. It's
That was
fascinating.
the cut. I was just talking to her about this.
It's basically like my thesis is basically you don't have to be doing any of that. And quite frankly, the people who are sober in a lot of ways are having the most fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
All right. So this is New Yorker of the Week. So we have
Yes.
some New York questions for you. So you're a
love it.
native New Yorker. So what's like the most Jess Rothschild's corner of New York? Like what is your New York?
I would say like University Place because I did go to NYU and I lived.
Okay.
I lived at Weinstein Hall and Hayden Hall. I would say like the NYU area because I did live there and now I actually live very, very close to there
Mhm.
as well. So I would say that. Listen, if this was 10 years ago, I would say any SoulCycle below 14th Street.
Wow. Are you
I
an
would-
instructor yourself? Like, do you do
No.
fitness instruction? Oh, no. Okay.
No, it's just a lifestyle.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, if this was 10 years ago, I would say SoulCycle NoHo, SoulCycle 19th Street.
Wow.
Or now Barry's Boot Camp, no, Barry's NoHo, Barry's Chelsea. That's my New York too.
Are
So
you going to do a
either-
documentary on berries, do you think?
so there's a lot of Barry stuff in the bonus episodes of
Oh, okay.
Cult of
We'll have
Body
to
and Soul.
check that out.
I interview people who've taught at both Soul and Barry's,
Mhm.
and it's really good. Yeah.
That's awesome. We'll have to
Yeah.
check that out. And listeners, definitely.
I'm a little
check that out.
scared to talk about Barry's. They can be a little litigious.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. Did anyone like shut you down in any of these
No.
places where they
No.
like get away? No, they were just like,
No.
let's do
They
it.
love it because frankly, nobody's talking about SoulCycle anymore.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
like, please.
My
They
friend
don't
was
need
like,
free
they should
pass.
give you free rides for life. I'm like, that kind of happened.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
That's
In
what
some
she
ways,
told
yeah.
us interview.
So, question about New York. Okay, this is more of just like a rapid fire question, but
Yeah,
who comes
hit
to
me.
mind when you hear a true New Yorker? Who comes to mind?
I would say Bob Levine, the 92-year-old drag queen.
Okay,
who
okay.
He grew up in the Bronx. He started going to Fire Island in 1955. He's lived in New York his entire life.
Yeah.
He lives in like Hell's Kitchen-ish. Like no, he lives in like Lincoln Center area now. That's a true New Yorker, babe.
That's a true New Yorker.
That's a true New Yorker.
Yeah.
Or you know who else comes to mind? Like Patricia Field.
Yeah.
Someone
yeah.
whose business has impacted the culture in
Mhm.
such a profound, tangible way. I would say those
100%.
two.
100%. Cool.
And then
Yeah.
we always ask our guests like what the most New York moment of their week was. So obviously it's Monday, but just like what, because we feel like in New York, there's just these things that happen here that like when you leave, it's like, oh, this doesn't happen other places.
Okay, the most New York moment of my week.
Could be last week. Could even be.
Your
Okay,
last
I
week.
would say running into people. Oh, here's the most New York moment of my week. A girl, and I'm sorry, listen, all roads will go back to SoulCycle or Fire. That is very much my life.
And that's totally
Hmm.
fine.
Okay, a friend of mine who I met at SoulCycle like 12, 15 years ago, her name is Stephanie. Okay, wait, let me say this again. Hold on. Okay. A friend of mine who I met at SoulCycle, she
Yeah.
now lives in LA, and I always run into her on the streets of New York, like whenever she's visiting New York. And we met at SoulCycle in New York. She doesn't even live in New York anymore. And I run into her like 3 times a year, just like randomly on the street.
That's
It is
crazy.
truly like some special
Yeah.
sauce that like keeps
Yeah.
bringing us back together, and we remain friends all these years later. We don't even live in the same city.
Oh, I
Well,
love
that's
Yeah,
that.
we
so
keep
sweet that you guys run into each other whenever she's in New York.
when she's in New York,
That's
because
so
I
funny.
walk everywhere. So
Mhm.
like you can find me on these streets.
I love that.
We'll be looking for you.
All right. Well, Jess, you've been so great to chat with.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming on.
on.
You're amazing. Where can people find you? Like, tell us everything for our listeners.
Just my Instagram, Jess X NYC. That's where you can see everything.
Okay.
Yeah, clips of
cool.
the show, or clips of everything. And I have a lot of video content that goes to the podcast, and all that's on the Instagram. And if you like stalk me enough, you can find stuff on YouTube, and it's all there.
Cool. Jess, thank
Amazing.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.